Montana bunker hummed with tension, its walls lined with flickering screens and salvaged Ascendancy tech. Mara paced, her boots scuffing the concrete, the plasma pistol a familiar weight at her hip. 3 days had passed since the Svalbard collapse, 3 days of radio silence from the Ascendancy, until now! Riley hunched over her console, her piercing eye locked on a glowing shard of alien alloy, its surface pulsing faintly. It's not Atlantic, she said, her voice cutting through the room's murmur. The signal's rerouted, near side of the moon, Sea of Serenity. Vega looked up from cleaning her rifle, her bandaged arms still stiff. Serenity, that's in our line of sight. NASA's mapped it for decades. Riley spun her chair, tapping the shard with a stylus, exactly hiding in plain sight. This fragment's broadcasting a harmonic frequency, low, subtle, masked as cosmic noise. They're active up there, rebuilding. Mara stopped pacing, her jaw tightening. The overseer. Riley shook her head. No way to tell, but the signature matches the core tech we fried. They've got a new hub, and it's not dormant. Titan loomed over a holomap, zooming in on the moon's near side. The Sea of Serenity stretched across the display, a vast basalt plain parked with craters. Fortified, then, he rumbled. Defenses, drones, the works. Shade leaning against the wall twirled a knife. And us with one busted ship, how do we even get there? Mara's gaze flicked to the dossier, its signed pages spread on a table. We don't wait for them to come to us, Riley. Can you pinpoint it? Riley nodded, sinking the shard to her rig. The holomop flickered, zeroing in on a subtle anomaly. A faint energy spike near the Serenitides basin's edge. They're buried, probably subsurface. Readings suggest a power draw. Helium-3, big time. Vega snorted. Another reactor. Riley's expression darkened. Worse, the frequency's evolving, adapting. It's like the directive, but alive. They're not just controlling minds anymore. They're building something. The room stilled. Mara's mind flashed to Svalbard. The Overseer's final hiss. The stasis pods, the promise of resurgence. Then we hit it fast, she said, before it's operational. A resistance tech piped up, voice shaky. Craft's repaired, but it's not lunar rated. Stealth shot after the Arctic. Vega smirked. We've flown worse, rig it for speed, not subtlety. They'll see us coming, they just won't catch us. Hours later, the team boarded the patched-up dropship. Its hull a patchwork of welds and prayer. Vega took the helm. Titan and Shade strapped in with heavy gear, plasma cannons, EMP charges, a portable shield generator. Riley jury-rigged. Mara sat beside Riley, who clutched a new device, a handheld frequency disruptor tuned to the shard's signal. If it's symbiotic like the dossier says, Riley muttered, this might jam it. Buy us time. Mara nodded, her resolve steel. Time's all we need! The engines roared, and the craft punched through Earth's atmosphere, the moon swelling in the view screen. No stealth, no tricks, just a straight shot to the near side. Alarms screamed as lunar sensors locked on, and Vega cursed, banking hard. Incoming! Drone 6 o'clock! Shade swiveled the turret, plasma fire lighting the void as sleek reptilian craft swarmed from the Serenity's shadows, faster, deadlier than before. Mara gripped the armrest, the moon's surface rushing closer. They're guarding something big, she said as a drone's energy blast rocked the hull. Riley's disruptor hummed, its screen flashing red, signals spiking. They know we're here. The craft dove toward the basin, a dark fissure splitting the plain below. Vega grinned, fierce. Hold tight, going in hot. The dropship plunged into the fissure, drones in pursuit as the Nearside Shadows swallowed them whole.
The dropship rattled as it plunged into the lunar fissure, its hull scraping against jagged basalt walls. Mara braced against the shuddering frame, the view screen a blur of darkness and dust. Vega wrestled the controls, her voice cutting through the chaos, stabilizing barely. This crack's tighter than it looks. Behind them, the reptilian drones pursued, their energy blast carving glowing scars into the rock, narrowing the gap. Shade's turret roared, shredding one into sparking debris, but more swarmed in its place. Persistent bastards, Titan growled. Priming an EMP charge, he lobbed it out the rear hatch, and a pulse of light flared, frying two drones mid-flight. The shockwave rocked the craft, but Vega held course, diving deeper. Riley clutched her frequency disruptor, its hum rising as the signal spiked. We're close. Energy readings are off the charts. Whatever's down here, it's massive. Mara peered ahead, her eyes catching a faint, unnatural glow at the fissure's base. There, she said, pointing, that's our target. The fissure opened into a cavernous void, the dropship bursting through into a subterranean expanse beneath the Sea of Serenity. The sight stole Mara's breath, a sprawling lunar city, its spires of alien alloy twisting upward, pulsing with bioluminescent veins. Helium-3 reactors dotted the skyline, their blue-white glow illuminating a network of bridges and platforms, swarming with reptilian figures, soldiers, drones, and towering machines that look like living weapons. At the city's heart loomed a massive dome, its surface writhing as if alive. They rebuilt, Vega muttered, banking the craft toward a shadowed ledge, bigger than the far side. Riley's disruptor beeped frantically. That dome's the source, frequency's strongest there. It's not just a hub, it's growing. Before Mara could respond, a salvo of energy bolts streaked from the city, forcing Vega into a spiral. The dropship slammed onto the ledge, skidding to a halt, its hull groaning but intact. We're grounded, Vega said, kicking the console. On foot from here.
The team disembarked, suits hissing as they adjusted to the low gravity. Titan hauled the shield generator, Shade scouted the perimeter, and Riley synced her disruptor to the dome's signal. It's adapting faster than I can jam, she warned, her voice tense. Mara scanned the city, its edges blurring with movement, drones converging, reptilian guards mobilizing. Then we move fast, she said, drawing her pistol straight to the dome. They descended a crumbling ramp, the shield generator humming as Titan activated it, deflecting a barrage of drone fire. The air, or lack of it, carried an eerie silence, broken only by the crackle of plasma and the thud of boots. Halfway across a bridge, a new threat emerged, a towering mech, its reptilian form fused with machinery, its claws sparking with energy. Ascendancy upgrade, Shade hissed, firing a burst that barely dented its armor. Mara signaled Titan, who lobbed an EMP charge. The mech staggered, its systems fritzing, and Vega seized the chance, planting a plasma grenade at its base. The explosion sent it crashing into the abyss below, but the blast drew attention. Alarms pulsed through the city, a guttural hiss echoing from the dome. They're awake, Riley said, her disruptor glowing red and pissed. The team sprinted the final stretch, reaching the dome's edge. Its surface parted like flesh, revealing a chamber within, a pulsating core larger than Svalbard, surrounded by stasis pods. But these weren't dormant. Reptilian eyes glowed within, stirring as a familiar voice raced from the shadows. "You should have stayed buried, Agent Cole." The Overseer stepped forward, its golden scales gleaming intact, alive. "Welcome to our rebirth." The Overseer's golden scales glinted in the dome's eerie glow, its amber eyes boring into Mara as she froze, pistol raised. The chamber pulsed around them, the core's writhing tendrils feeding energy into the stasis pods, where reptilian forms twitched, awakening. Vega flanked left, Titan and Shade right, their weapons trained on the Overseer, but its presence calm, commanding, held them in a tense standoff. Riley's disruptor whined, struggling to counter the rising frequency, her face pale. "It's too strong," she whispered. "We're running out of time." "You've meddled enough," the Overseer hissed, its voice a venomous chorus. It gestured to the city beyond the dome, its spires piercing the lunar gloom. "This is our dominion, rebuilt from your ignorance. You thought your Apollo missions were triumphs of exploration." Its maw curled into a grotesque smile, revealing jagged teeth. "Fools every landing. Tranquility, Hadley, the Cartert, was a summit. Your elites knelt before us, bartering your world's future for scraps of our power. Helium-3 was the price, and obedience the currency." Mara's grip tightened, her mind reeling. The dossier's gaps flashed, vague references to lunar liaisons she'd dismissed as code. "You're lying," she spat, but doubt gnawed. The Overseer laughed, a guttural rasp. "Am I? Ask your history books why the mission stopped so abruptly. We had what we needed, your leader's loyalty, your soil's wealth. The near side was ours long before you dared look up." It stepped closer, claws clicking on the floor. "Now we ascend anew, and you'll witness it." The core flared, and the pods hissed open, releasing a dozen reptilian warriors, sleeker, deadlier than before, their scales shimmering with embedded tech. "Upgrades," Titan muttered, firing a plasma burst that staggered one but didn't drop it. Shade lobbed an EMP grenade, frying two, but the others advanced, claws sparking. Vega dodged a swipe, her rifle blazing, while Mara aimed for the Overseer, her shot deflected by an unseen energy field. "Riley, the disruptor, now," Mara shouted. Riley slammed the device against the core's base, its hum clashing with the Ascendancy's frequency. The Overseer snarled, its field flickering, and Mara seized the opening. Charging forward, she tackled it, driving her pistol's barrel into its chest and firing point blank. The plasma seared through scales, forcing a shriek, but it swatted her back, sending her crashing into a pod. "You can't stop evolution," it roared, as the core's tendrils lashed out, pinning Titan and Shade. Vega yanked Mara up, blood trickling from her reopened arm wound. "We're losing ground," she yelled as the warriors closed in. Riley's disruptor sparked, its screen cracking. "I've got a partial lock, enough to slow them." The frequency shifted, and the warriors faltered, their movements jerky. Mara scrambled to her feet, the Overseer's Apollo revelation burning in her mind. "If Earth's elites sold us out," she growled, "we're taking it back, starting with you." She grabbed an EMP charge from Titan's belt, hurling it at the core. The blast rippled through the chamber, shattering pods and frying the tendrils. The Overseer staggered, its field collapsing, and Vega landed a plasma shot to its leg, dropping it to one knee. But the core pulsed faster, a deep rumble shaking the city.
Fools, the Overseer hissed, blood dripping from its maw. You've only woken the brood. The floor split, and from the depths rose a massive serpentine machine, half reptile, half tech, its eyes glowing red. The Overseer laughed, limping toward it. Meet the Sentinel. Your Apollo betrayal birthed this, and it will bury you. The Sentinel towered over the chamber, its serpentine form coiling through the fractured floor, a grotesque fusion of reptilian flesh and alien machinery. Its red eyes blazed, locking onto Mara as she staggered back, the EM's aftershock still ringing in her ears. The Overseer limped to its side, golden scales smeared with blood, its voice a triumphant hiss. Your kind built the Apollo lie, but we forged the truth. This guardian ensures our reign, and them Sentinel. The machine lunged, its tail whipping across the dome with seismic force. Titan Dove shoving shade clear as the strike shattered a stasis pod, debris raining. Vega fired her rifle, plasma bolts glancing off the Sentinel's armored hide, while Riley scrambled to salvage her disruptor, its cracked screen flickering. It's shielding the core's frequency. I can't break through, she yelled, ducking a lashing tendril. Mara rolled to her feet, pistol blazing, aiming for the Overseer, but the Sentinel intercepted, its claw swatting her shot wide. We've got to split its focus, Mara shouted, signaling Titan. He hefted the shield generator, its hum faltering but holding, and charged the Sentinel's flank, drawing its attention. The beast roared, a guttural, mechanical shriek, and slammed a claw down, cracking the floor beneath Titan's shield. Shade seized the opening, planting a plasma grenade on its tail. The explosion rocked the chamber, sharing off a chunk of armor, but the Sentinel barely slowed, its red eyes pulsing with fury. Vega grabbed Mara's arm, pulling her toward the core. The Overseer's the key, take it out, maybe this thing shuts down. They sprinted, dodging the Sentinel's thrashing limbs, as the Overseer retreated behind its guardian, barking commands in a hissing tongue. Mara's mind raced, the Apollo deception burned, but the Sentinel was here now, a living testament to betrayal. She vaulted a tendril, landing near the core, and spotted a control node pulsing within its base. Riley, can you hack that? Riley slid in beside her, dragging the disruptor's remains. If I can patch it, give me cover. Vega and Mara opened fire, plasma bolts peppering the Overseer's field as it flickered under strain. The Sentinel whirled, its tail arcing toward them, but Titan roared, slamming his cannon into its flank, buying seconds. Riley's fingers flew, rewiring the disruptor into the node. Got it. Frequency syncing. Hold on. The dome shuddered as the disruptor pulsed, a high-pitched whine clashing with the Sentinel's roar. The machine froze, its eyes dimming, then flared back, redder, wilder. It's fighting me, Riley gasped. The Overseer snarled, lunging from behind the Sentinel, claws slashing at Mara. She parried with her pistol, the impact jarring her arm, and fired point blank into its chest. The shot burned through scales, dropping it to the floor, writhing. Your brood rises, it choked, blood pooling. The Sentinel convulsed, free of the Overseer's control, but unleashed, its programming spiraling into chaos. It smashed the core, tendrils snapping, and a chain reaction sparked, reactors across the city flickering. It's overloading, Vega yelled, grabbing Riley. Titan and Shade hauled the shield generator, its last charge deflecting a collapsing beam as the team bolted for the exit. The Overseer's body vanished under rubble, the Sentinel thrashing in its death throes. They reached the fissure's edge, the dropship a battered lifeline. Vega gunned the engines, the craft lurching upward as the city imploded behind them, a fireball blooming in the Nearside Shadows. Silence settled, the moon's surface scarred anew. Mara stared at the wreckage, the Overseer's words, Apollo lie, brood rises, echoing. It's not over, she said, voice hard. Riley clutched the disruptor's core fragment, its glow faint but alive. Know something's still out there.